Okay. I love this game. Ah, there's so many, man. Hello and welcome to a very special BAFTA Young Game Designers Awards. I'm Inel Tomlinson and I'm here at BAFTA HQ. This building has welcomed some of the biggest and best creatives from all over the globe. Fitting really, as there's no better place to host this year's Young Game Designers Awards. I'll see you in there. 2025 marks YGD's 15th year of running my favorite award show. The BAFTA Young Game Designers Awards started back in 2010. The aim was to get young people across the UK excited about game design and show them how to turn their passions into a career in games. So BAFTA created a competition for 10 to 18-year-olds to design their own video games. Over the years, it's grown into a huge program with workshops, mentoring, showcases, and all sorts of resources to help young people acquire the skills they need to level up, much like an RPG. Our finalists get goodie bags, digital mentorship with some of the industry's brightest minds, and an exclusive invitation to our YGD showcases. Plus, our lucky winners will have their games showcased in the Science Museum's Power Up galleries in London, Manchester, and Bradford for thousands of visitors to come and play. I mean, what a prize! The support for the awards would not be possible without the continued help from our partners. So, a big thank you to Criterion Games, EE, Hasbro, PlayStation, and Warner Brothers Games. That's 15 years of innovative concept designs, 15 years of amazing games, and 15 years of entrants who have gone on to start their own careers working within the games industry. Actually, let's hear from some of them now.
And the BAFTA Young Game Designers Award goes to Beached Whale Productions for Hamster Accidental World Domination.
So I'm Dan Pearce. I was a finalist back in 2010 for BAFTA YGD, right when it started, 15 years ago. And yeah, I ended up winning that, which was an enormous privilege.
Hello, I'm Rihanna Hawkins. I won the BAFTA YGD competition back in 2014 for my game's concept Tomatoes Roll.
Did you think you'd win? No, yeah? Once I saw the other games, I really did not think I was going to win this.
Hi, I'm Tyler Rotherham and I entered the YGD BAFTA competition in 2019 in the game concept category.
So the concept I submitted was a sort of 3D platformer stroke detective game stroke visual novel hybrid called Dream Detective.
So in 2016 I was nominated when I was 14 for a game called Illuminate, where the entire level was invisible and you would have different ways of lighting up the level in pieces.
Winning BAFTA YGD was the whole reason I got into games. Like, it jump-started my entire career, basically.
How do you feel right now? Surprised?
What I remember most about my experience with YGD is mainly after I was nominated. Just being able to hear directly from people who were in the industry and talk to them and ask them questions made it feel like a lot less of a pipe dream to be in the games industry. It felt a lot more real.
It was the very first time that I ever felt like I was on the other side of the curtain of the games industry, which was really cool.
And it was also really important as I managed to find friends who I had the same passions as I did for the first time.
Being a finalist meant a lot to me because of that community it gave me and because of the panels and talks.
To me, being a finalist meant getting recognised in this industry that I'd always dreamed of joining, and it really helped me get the critique and mentorship I needed to keep on improving from that stage.
Being nominated showed that my ideas had potential and that if I wanted to, someday I could become a game designer.
It immediately is a conversation starter, means that you can make a lot of really great headway with people who have been working in the games industry for a long time and who have way more experience than you, and that's enormously helpful.
I don't know where we'll be now without BAFTA YGD.
Wow, that's only a handful of the amazing YGD alumni that have seen their games showcased in the last 15 years. That's 1.5 gaming generations, 2 if you're Xbox. In that time, video games have evolved like Pokemon. We've seen the rise of genres such as Battle Royale games. Roguelikes have become part of the gaming lexicon, and Soulsborns does not mean you're firstborn, I don't think. We saw at the BAFTA Games Awards this year that Astrobot took home the coveted Best Game Award, a traditional platform game whose sole focus was on the player just having fun in a colourful world. Gaming and creating games has become more accessible than ever before, but it still has a long way to go. And I think the fantastic entries you're going to see today are proof that we're on the right path. So, let's take a look at some of those entries now. Here are the finalists for our Game Concept Award, 10 to 14 years old.
Blossom is a language learning game where you need to help Mr. Sushimi to keep his sushi shop open.
In Clavers, players don't just pick their own character, they create one, using real-world modelling clay. They can simply scan it using the Clavers app. Their creation springs to life in the game as a playable character.
Cursorama, a fast-paced pixel RPG that we genuinely believe has never been done before.
You play as the cursor, and the general idea is that this cursor interacts with the game environment.
Knocking over barrels, breaking signposts, or even tipping over a caravan.
My game is called Fried Spider, and it's a fast-paced, chaotic co-op cooking game. 1 to 4 players can take control of the limbs of Aaron, the spider protagonist, to prepare meals for customers in his restaurant. Players must make enough money to pay off their debts at the end of the month.
This is an easy-to-play hack-and-slash dungeon crawler, where you play as the anti-hero, defeating more and more powerful heroes along the way, with the game finishing in a fight against 3 bosses.
Inky Void is a peaceful and curious feel, like a drawing coming to life and exploring a new existence. The player draws things into their world to help overcome challenges. A new staircase to get up a ledge, a bridge to cross a gap, removing splotchy mistakes.
My game, Reef Revival, is an adventure game about protecting sea life, where you play as a little yellow sea sponge, Spongy, trying to restore the great coral. But there's a challenge. You can't touch the coral, or else it dies.
Seashell Base is a cozy, livesome exploration game. You'll help rebuild a storm-scattered community, one goofy task at a time. And slowly, you discover your island is actually a giant sea turtle, gently paddling its way towards the legendary Seashell Bay.
In this game, you get to play as robots to explore the beautiful environments of Earth and interact with wildlife. You get to solve puzzles and play games in order to restore nature and make Earth a greener place.
I really love dystopian horror-esque games, especially if they're story-oriented. The player is to navigate a lonely, post-apocalyptic setting, a world after its end, in search of meaning and fulfillment.
And the BAFTA YGD goes to The Undead by Tanisi Rawat.
I wanted my game to diverge from common survival game tropes, and instead explore the tragedy of such a situation. Instead of the often explored first-person shooter interpretation of apocalyptic games, I decided for the game mechanics to be more puzzle-solving and exploration-based, due to the character's own viewpoint and limitations as a 12-year-old child. They encounter zombies, some remaining survivors, and complete quests as they try to make their way home in hopes of reuniting with their family.
Congratulations to Tanisi for The Undead. Some well thought out game mechanics, reminiscent of children's games, and some great UI concepts and pixel designs. Not to mention Tanisi thought about accessibility options for players, including font colors and key binding options. Thinking about how you as a designer can make your games accessible for a variety of players is incredibly important, so a huge well done. Now, let's take a look at the game concept nominees, 15 to 18 years old.
Bilbo is a story-driven puzzle-solving game which uses a reality-shifting mechanic to change your position and abilities as a character. You rediscover your memories in a story of self-discovery and have to try and fix your reality.
Inkman is a story-driven game where you play as Elwyn Thorne, a heroine from a torn book searching for missing pages to restore her world.
Aimed at ages 10 and up, Inkbound is a heartfelt journey about healing, identity, and becoming the hero of your own story.
My concept is called Material Shift, and you play as Equilibra, an agent of cosmic balance who is tasked with restoring harmony to chess through a series of boss fights with each piece. Each boss has two phases, a white and a black phase, representing part of their identity.
MedPal is an educational game designed to teach the player first aid skills, CPR, how to apply bandages, and even recognizing medical emergencies. It's taught by this cute little robot, MedPal, who emerges from a first aid kit.
Mika Bozu is a game about a young creative who somehow manages to finish 3 of her projects in the span of one single night, which is probably how you could tell this is a work of fiction and not reality.
Modulo sees you guide a little cube called Analog as she travels through Sympathesia to rescue her friends from the evil Romplay. You can control different elements of the environment and link them together in strange ways to traverse the levels.
I'm Charlie, the designer of Nebula Numerics, an interactive space shooter and learning game. You, the player, must battle the infected residents, rebuild your spaceship, and discover the origins behind the virus plaguing this solar system.
Rhythm Hell is about a boy called Johan who escapes his strict family life to go on a journey of self-discovery. On the way, he ends up finding a haunted town, and his goal is to liberate the town from evil and find himself in the process.
Subject 19 is a horror game in which you play as the 19th subject of a drug test, and you're trapped in an abandoned facility. It has lots of action sequences, sneaky bits, lots of chase sequences as well. It'd just be very fun to play.
You start off in the kids' bedroom where they're playing with their toys. When the child gets called down for dinner and they start heading downstairs, that's when their imagination starts to take hold and everything starts to change around them.
And the BAFTA YGD goes to Mika Bozu by Emily Sun and Isabel Taylor.
Aside from getting a really cool trophy, which is very shiny and very cool, I think winning this competition would be an absolutely amazing opportunity to turn the dream of being a game developer into a reality. The opportunities provided by winning this competition would be absolutely groundbreaking.
So, next up, we have only one option. We are going to get Mika developed, we're going to get it out, and hopefully in the next couple of years you'll be able to play it. In the meantime, we've got a couple of secret secondary projects that we're working on. Maybe you'll see those too.
Congratulations to both Isabel and Emily. A stunning concept for a game rooted in the burnt-out desires of a designer. As a fellow creative, I can really attest to starting projects but never getting to see them through. Believe me. I like how the relatability of the concept extends to the gameplay and story ideas. Well, Emily and Isabel, you can mark this as an accomplishment you've seen through. Congratulations. And what better way to truly understand the impact of BAFTA Young Game Designers Awards than to hear directly from more of our incredible alumni who have walked this very path and completed this level.
So currently, I'm actually working in the AAA games industry, which has been a lot of fun.
Nowadays, I'm a freelance game developer, so I do design, programming, occasionally a tiny bit of writing. I do all sorts everywhere.
Nowadays, I work at my own game studio, Willow Flame Productions, which I founded to make multilingual language learning games that include sign languages.
I am a game designer / narrative designer, and I've recently published my first credited commercial game, which is a walking simulator game called Desert Angels. It's on Steam and it's something I'm super, super proud of.
So back in 2021, I worked with some friends who I'd met through BAFTA YGD, who were also at the university I went to. Together we worked on a project that was funded by BAFTA University and SSE for the COP26 Climate Conference. Definitely one of the highlights of my games career so far was having the opportunity to showcase that game to His Royal Highness Prince William at BAFTA HQ.
Not too long after BAFTA YGD, actually, about sort of 3 or 4 years afterwards, I worked on a game called Castles in the Sky, which I was lucky enough to receive a BAFTA Games nomination for. More recently worked on a project called Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3, which is this kind of weird mashup, like match 3 survival horror Metroidvania thing, which is something very near and dear to my heart.
I've worked in quite a few places, but my proudest project was Tales of Kinzera Zal. I did a bit of everything in Zal. I even got tasked with creating and designing the final boss for that game when I was literally just an intern. So a piece of my soul went into Zal over the 3 years I was on it.
Over the years, I've worked on a variety of interesting projects, such as Mixed Communication, a game I developed while living in South Korea. In Mixed Communication, you communicate with people speaking to you in a foreign language. To be able to decipher what they're saying, you use doodles and sign language. By making this game, I worked on an international team, with signers, translators, and voice actresses from all around the world.
Some projects that I've worked on include Fable, the upcoming reboot at Playground Games, Project 007 at IO Interactive, so all of those massive teams, loads of learning to do from all the people around me, which has been great.
That is something I'm really excited to see about the YGD program, about these future generations of creators, game designers, game developers, artists, coming into the industry and gaining that confidence through this program. And I honestly think that was really valuable to me, and it hopefully is really valuable to future generations.
Now, from the concept designs to the playable experiences, making a video game is truly an achievement. Believe me, I've been trying to make my own game for years. It takes patience, creativity, and a high level of skill in a variety of areas in order to fully realize your ideas and bring them to life for people to play. I admire everyone who's created their own game. Here are the finalists for Game Making 10 to 14.
Echolocation. It's about a character who's lost his sense of sight and has to use his sonar gun and shoot sound waves to platform across the levels.
For the Gold is a game where you command an army and lead it into a dungeon to try and get as much gold as possible.
Make sure you leave on a high, as if you get destroyed in the dungeon, you come out with nothing.
The game is a 2D platformer with a character that can hop dimensions, and its goal is to get home. Be creative this game to make the players angry and frustrated when you fall for the traps.
My game is called Planet Drop. It's influenced by puzzle games such as Tetris and Squeaky Game, which I love, but it's themed around space and planets. It also features leaderboards and music and a bunch of other cool stuff.
My game is RTS Chess, which is a roguelike real-time strategy game where you control chess pieces and grow your army. I was inspired by roguelike strategy games such as Slay the Spire.
My game is called Server Storm, and it's a fast-paced action roguelike about fighting malware inside a computer. I've also composed a short soundtrack for the final boss fight of Server Storm, which is something I've never done before.
Sir Flufington is a dungeon crawler, where you play as a knight with a massive plume that he uses to attack enemies. He has to climb a tower and rescue the golden floof.
In Splat, you have to run around the level and try to get to the top. You have to bounce on birds and springs and avoid spikes. It's very hard.
The Stinvalian project is a game where you fight flocks of robot birds using explosive eggs. The player fights rogue machines by rushing at them or luring them close.
Hi, I'm Marcella Godoy, the creator of Whispers of the Realms. As you journey through each level, you'll collect key shards, mana, and health by defeating enemies and exploring stunning 8-bit environments.
And the BAFTA YGD goes to Sir Floofington by Thiago van Vlerk and Renee.
I put a lot of time and effort into making my game, and being nominated for the BAFTA YGD means that I get to meet all the other nominees and some people in the industry. Winning it would bring me one step closer to my dream job of being a game designer. I am already working on improving this game with adding a trap and maybe even a whole new enemy. This is because I think it's a game that is so good that it deserves to be taken further.
Congratulations to Thiago for Sir Floofington, a fun top-down pixel adventure game with some cool character animations and a challenging boss battle. Oh, you know what, I'd love to see Thiago develop more levels and imaginative boss fights for Sir Floofington to tackle. Not to mention, it's just fun to say that name, Floofington. Well done. Now, let's take a look at the game-making nominees 15 to 18 years old.
You play as a first-person AI that goes through a series of trials. What makes it unique is that it all takes place within the same room, and once you complete a trial, you rewind back to the start of the room, and the room will change to the next trial.
Getting deja vu. In our game, you play through a series of different rooms in which you have to fight a variety of different enemies. The key feature of this game is it has its own tailored music in which you move in synchronization to the beat of.
Circle Boy is a puzzle platformer with a fun and unique game mechanic where the farther you fall, the higher you bounce back up, which is sort of a good rule for life.
Dodo Go Go is a 2D platformer set on the island of Mauritius. The aim of the game is to rescue your other and only Dodo friend from being eaten by the pirates.
Factory Protocol is a 2D platformer where you play as a robot who's trying to escape the factory.
And while you do this, there's an oil bar that depletes which you have to refill.
You play as a first-time homeowner and expert martial artist, moving in when the army of the underworld come to stop you from decorating. It plays out with alternating demon fighting and furniture placing.
Los Jura is a game where you explore the mind of a very damaged man. You live through bits of his broken memory.
The environment was quite a big challenge. There was just so much atmospheric stuff that needed to be sorted out.
A Society of Lights is a game where you play as a small rusted lantern inside a dystopian megacity where you use your light to brighten up the whole city using mirrors and your flame.
The aim of the game was to try and follow the sound of music for each maze in order to complete the level. It's basically a game where you get to experience what blind people experience when making games.
What's Inside is a quasi-3D horror game where the player has to escape a kidnapper's home, isolated from the world in the woods. Across 5 days, the player must traverse through each room of the house and find different items to avoid their capture at all costs.
And the BAFTA YGD goes to Furniture Food by Luke Rayfield.
I'm Luke and I made the interior decorating, demon hunting, home makeover roguelike abomination known only as Furniture Food. One of the biggest design challenges in making this game is the huge amount of information associated with each furniture. What it does, what it doesn't like, what it likes, what happens when you place it next to what it likes. I really enjoyed sharing my game much more than I ever would have without this award. I especially enjoy seeing all the interesting and unique houses people have been making. I'm really excited to take this game seriously and make it into something that I can sell. I want to learn how to market it and find an audience, which is going to be a whole journey of itself. Most of all, I'm grateful for the opportunity BAFTA has given me to follow my long-standing dream, so thanks for that.
Congratulations to Luke for Furniture Foo! This is a really imaginative concept for a game. Unpacking furniture buffs your ninja in order to battle demons in a fractured realm. fantastic. I've just moved into a new place and I think I've spent more time in this game buying furniture and placing it strategically than I've done in my own house. We've been overwhelmed by the sheer amount of talent displayed today. Once again, I want to say a huge congratulations to all the finalists and to our winners. If you've been inspired by today's awards, then why not take part next year? If I can't convince you, then why not hear from some of our YGD fam on why they think you should apply?
Wow, it's amazing to think it's been 15 years of YGD.
The Young Game Designers competition shows how powerful and fun that experience of making games can be.
I'm always banging the drum about getting young people and parents aware of this initiative.
BAFTA YGD is so incredibly important. It shows young people that they can make and design games. Just look at all of the games that have been submitted this year.
I think people should apply for YGD because beyond anything else, it's a lot of fun putting an entry together.
Honestly, if you even go just through the ideation process, you're going to learn so much about what it takes to be able to make a game.
For many, YGD's the spark. It's that realization that they're like, yeah, you know what, I can do this.
Now, because it's BAFTA, you also get the benefit of having your work viewed by some of the best professionals that this country has to offer, working across the games industry.
And if you get nominated, you do get that recognition within the industry. It looks golden on your CV, and it's going to open up even more like networking opportunities, mentoring opportunities, and eventually job opportunities.
YGD definitely helped me get to where I am now. It opened doors by connecting me to people in the industry, which gave me my first role as a Tencent Games intern.
There are Discord servers made up of the finalists and the winners of the previous eras. And there's like a welcoming community there to support you.
To me, that's the thing that's most encouraging about YGD, is like seeing people kind of forge those connections and move upwards together.
I hope many more young people take part in the competition for years to come because it is such a special opportunity.
You can be a young game designer. You should be a young game designer. Enter the competition.
If you love creating games, you should definitely apply. It could be the first big step in your journey.
You may be like me and be like, oh, this is possible, and it might just change your entire life.
You never know where it might take you.
I really look forward to seeing what you come up with. Thanks.
BAFTA Young Game Designers is growing bigger each and every year, and there's no better time than now to get thinking of your gaming ideas so you can enter in 2026. Each summer, BAFTA holds our YGD showcase in which you can come along and play all the games you've seen here today. Who knows? You could be part of the alumni for the next 15 years. Check out the BAFTA website for more info and make sure to sign up for news and alerts. Ooh, and also keep an eye out for BAFTA's social posts. Right, now I heard the Princess Anne Theatre has Dolby Atmos installed, so you know that means I gotta play this game on the big screen. You're gonna need a pad for that, bro. Come on. Oh, yeah, cheers, Inel. Well, all that leaves me to say is stay creative, stay inspired, and hopefully I'll be checking out your entries next year. Yeah, come on, boot the game up, bro. Yeah. I've been Inel Tomlinson. Take care. Hey, sign it. Woo! I love this game. Okay. Wooden stool or a chaise lounge? All right, votes. Ooh. Who says chaise lounge? Put me down for chaise lounge. Wooden stool. All right, wooden stool. Ooh. Okay. Wooden stool. I ain't sharing.